It's actually a very personal story that I came from an indigenous community in Mexico, in the south of Mexico. The community is the Mayan community that is still alive. You may know the big pyramids that the Mayans built in Mexico and Central America, but there is still a community there. And we basically depend of natural resources. And I was living in Tula, which is a very small community, and the community depending on harvesting of timber and on chewing gum production. And the thing is that the people there was really poor, even if they had a lot of natural resources. So it was quite contradictory that they weren't allowed to go to the school because they didn't have money to do it, but they had a very huge jungle with a lot of animals. And also now I live in the other side of the Mayan Peninsula, which is a coast reserve. I come here representing Siancan Reserve. It's a World Heritage Site, and there is also communities living inside the reserve. Now the situation is better, but around the community are also a lot of communities that depends on natural resources, but they are really poor. So we were looking for options to use that resources sustainably, because they were harvesting and collecting a lot. Even those products were sold very cheap. So now the thing that we are trying to do there is to use less resources but getting more money. Maybe one of the options is taking out the middlemen that they are getting the most biggest part of the money.
So tell us the things that you learned from here by participating here. How are you giving it back to your community?
Well, we are now sharing a lot of experiences between the participants. We happen to have more or less the same problems, and some of them and us have some solutions from the problems. So we are going to bring them home, and not all are possible to put it in that place, but we can adapt some solutions for our communities. And also we are networking, which is very important because we are going to keep in touch with the youth around the world, so we can still see good practices in other sites.
What was the experience in the activities that the initiative Go for Biodiv took this year, and what were the important things that came up?
Well, before we came here at Hyderabad in COP, we were in Sundarbans, and we were doing a lot of work between the messengers. And one of the things that came out from that was our declaration paper, which has very important topics. We were actually divided in 4 workshops, which was livelihoods and biodiversity, governance and fisheries, and science in biodiversity, and another one.
Give us a couple of points from the declaration.
Sure. One of the things that we want to pass the message is that marine and coastal biodiversity loss has profound implications on humanity. And we want to bring that message that could be very obvious for some of us, for some of the people, but the thing is that the connection between elements in the ecosystems are not very well known around the world and outside of biological science. So we want to share that message that everything you touch in one ecosystem could affect the whole ecosystem and the whole world. For example, in climate change, that small actions can affect everything.